another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks. What are we, episode 93, I think? Getting to 100,
something
very
like that.
close.
Big one, yeah. First episode of 2022.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the new year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully your 2022 is somewhat COVID-free, although it seems to be everywhere you breathe, so
It's true.
hope everyone stays healthy. Speaking of healthy, the Eagles are not healthy. They had
speaking of COVID, I don't know if I would say healthy. Speaking of COVID,
yeah, they
hey, we talked about this. We talked about this last week. I'm glad that they clinched the playoffs last week because I didn't want to play Dallas and rely on it. But I think I'm really glad that we didn't do it because now we're not going to play half our team. Like, who is on the COVID list now? The list is just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, last I saw it was about 13 players, including Goddard, Kelsey, and Lane.
Fletcher Cox is on
or
there
Fletcher
too.
Cox, yeah, that's who it was. But yeah, it's not ideal.
We're gonna end up sitting our starters just out of COVID concerns.
Well, honestly, Dallas has more to play for than we do. Like, I don't think the Niners would have to lose and we'd have to win in order to move from 7 to 6. But I mean, the Cowboys could still get the 2 seed, I believe. So
yeah, they
got more to play for than we do. And the game was moved to Saturday at 8:00, which is pretty random.
I'll take
the NFL is really pushing it as like season finale. Like they're touting it like it's some kind of like TV show that's going to end, and you got to catch the season finale. I don't know. It's interesting how they're doing that, but
I mean, listen, you got the Cowboys and Eagles, 2 bitter rivals, playing in where they're both playoff teams. Theoretically, they both have something to play for. Seeding for different teams. Our whole team might be missing COVID, but I could see the hype. It's an easy hype up game.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find so it's 12 players. Jannard Avery, Fletcher Cox, Marcus Epps, Dallas Goedert, Nate Herbig, Jordan Howard, Jason Kelsey, Avonte Maddox, Rodney McLeod, Boston Scott, Alex Singleton, Jack Stoll. That's actually a lot worse than I thought.
Geez, that's all your running backs and majority of your secondary.
I mean, the report was Goddard, Cox, Kelsey, and other players. I figured they were like backups. These are starting players. These aren't backups.
I think you only have so many characters to put in a headline, so that they had to pick the 3 biggest.
Yeah, I imagine Hurts will play a little bit, and then they'll put Minshew in. I imagine Gainwell will be the only healthy running back because I mean Sanders could be back for the wild card from what I heard. Howard still got that stinger issue, so there's no reason for him to play.
He's got COVID now too.
Yeah, and then a lot of these players they'll test positive, but then like Sirianni was positive and like 4 days was negative. So I mean,
that's true. I mean, listen, we are on a Saturday game though, so we are losing a day in these protocols. The protocols change, but I think this might just give them the reason not to play anyone and to rest up for the playoffs. But hey, we clinched the playoff spot, so I could really care less who you put out there.
So that is the big news. I was I was at the game in Washington.
How was it from the away field? It looked like a home game, to be honest with you.
It felt like a home game. It looked like a home game. Sounded like a home game. The only thing that didn't feel like the home part of it was the tailgating, because apparently Washington football team fans don't know how to tailgate.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I got there around like 10:30, 11, I think. I think we got there a little later because we assumed it was going to be bad. So we got there like 11, and it was not much going on. It was just a couple people drinking by the cars. Whereas like Philly, you got people tailgating at 6 a.m, popping beers, and so
it's a team without a name. What tailgate could you really expect? And I gotta say, well, besides the tailgating, there was also the difference between I've been to many Eagles games at the Link. I've never seen the stadium collapse or break in any form of the way. It's been structurally sound since I think it's been up. So obviously you knew that they were in some shithole franchise stadium when their fans falling down and almost injuring our Hey, credit to the fans. That was the most pressure Hurts saw all game. So another dominant performance by the line, which I took.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So
but
for
hey,
it was funny. I walked when I was in uh I came into work this morning and my manager he knew I was at the game and he's like, did you have any stadium accidents? Anything fall on you? Did you fall down at all? I was like, nope. But after seeing that, I was a little worried. But
I'm just disappointed. I thought you were going to put. I was looking for your beautiful red locks on the replay when they were falling out of the stadium. So
yeah, no,
see
that
if you could
was
add your name to that pending lawsuit coming.
no, yeah, we were about 20 rows back on we were on probably like the 30, 35 yard line. They were pretty good seats. And like the whole section I was in was like majority Eagles fans. Like I saw way more green than burgundy or yellow. And yeah, we got rowdy. I mean, you said you heard the defense chants. Like that was my crowd. We were doing that, and it was hilarious. Like if I was Washington, one of the Washington players, I would have been pissed. Like
Of course.
why are there defensive chants when my team is on offense in my stadium? Like, but
Listen, the franchise is a joke. Although, speaking on Washington, since we're on the topic, they did announce that they are going to finally give themselves a name. I think in a couple weeks, they'll finally give the announcement. It's kind of embarrassing it took them this long, but good for them. They get a name. We crashed on them. We bust on them for deservingly for so many reasons, but at least they can take not having a name off that list.
yeah, I don't remember. A couple months ago, I remember the like nominees were like the Washington like Brigade, Armada, Red Hogs, Red Tails. I think we're all in there.
My hopes for them aren't very high. This will probably be stupid in the end, but
Probably.
what are you gonna do?
But
But
I did want to real quick. You did touch on the Jalen Hurts thing. So for anyone that didn't see, it was after the game. Jalen was walking through the tunnel or about to go through the tunnel, and there were fans that were leaning over trying to give him a high five, and the gate just like collapsed. And he luckily, was able to step out of the way. And good thing that he didn't walk further; it would have collapsed on him.
yeah,
Um, but he was great. Like he, helped the fans up. He was smiling, taking pictures with them, made sure they were okay. But
oh, he handled it
he
incredibly.
did write a letter to I guess the NFL and Washington. So I'm gonna just read it real quick for anyone that didn't see it. It's addressed to whom it may concern, which is Washington's terrible stadium. I am writing to inquire about what follow-up action is being considered in response to the near tragic incident that took place at FedEx Field on January 2nd, 2022. As you are aware, many individuals, including fans, media personnel, and myself, were placed in a dangerous situation when portions of the FedEx Field tunnel collapsed. Although I was able to prevent the barrier from crashing onto me, that was not the same for those who could be suffering from lingering injuries. I will say it did look like most people walked away fine, so that's
Yeah,
good. Through the initial shock, my first reaction was to assist those involved. However, while I displayed a calm composure, I understand the severity of what happened and am extremely concerned for the well being of the fans and the media. As a result, I would like to know what safeguards the NFL and the Washington football team are implementing to prevent this from ever occurring in the future. The resources of the NFL and team organizations ensure our safety through playing this physical sport, but what happened on Sunday put both fans and players unnecessarily at risk long after the final whistle. I look forward to hearing from you on this matter. Sincerely, Jalen Hurts, aka QB1. So
I appreciate the fact. I mean, he handled it so cool when he was walking out.
he
I'm just
did.
appreciating that, like that letter is just going to give this story more legs because the video is just it's kind of like awesome,
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't
but
say
it's
awesome,
also
but it's yes, you'll remember it.
I think the way like you see it, yeah, of course, no one got hurt, so I could say it's kind of awesome. But the way Hurts handled it, like he's just not even phased, just takes pictures with the crowd,
Yeah.
and then we can just bust on Washington because they're just an embarrassment that they can't even have a stadium that holds up to the fans. It's just I think nice, but I mean there was a lot of I would say off the field kind of nonsense with that, and then there was the playoff talk, but and then COVID now. But talking about on the field, I thought all in all, good game to see. Still disappointed. The first half we looked a little lackluster.
Shocker.
And then this time I thought it wasn't really necessarily the offense; it was the defense that couldn't stop anyone. They let Washington score on every single drive in the first half. They got 3 field goals and a touchdown. I'll give them credit because, again, whatever Sirianni does at halftime works, because then they came out and they didn't let up any more points. You got a punt, turnover and downs and an interception on every drive in the second half. But ultimately, I mean, listen, it was a 2016 game. Luckily, your offense wasn't as lackluster in the first half as they've been in the other games, so you were able to get a touchdown to keep it close. But we're now through the shitty part of our schedule. You're going to play the Cowboys, and then you're going to be in the playoffs. This first half kind of, starting slow has to be addressed. But all in all, I mean, that was my only gripe is how lacking the defense was in the first half. Otherwise, I thought they played pretty well. The pass rush picked up later in the second half. The offense was good. The offensive line just continues to dominate.
Yeah.
It's easily the best area of this team. But a lot of positives, I think, to take. A lot of positives to take from this game.
Yeah, I watching it in person there, the defense they just played so back. Like they were so passive, just letting everything underneath. I think besides like the one ball he threw away to like the sideline, I'm pretty sure Heineke was like almost perfect throwing the ball in the first half.
He was.
He wasn't. He actually. Air. He was playing fairly well. Like I'll give him credit. But then the second half they did adjust. Josh Sweat came alive. He
did.
He had like 2 pass deflections that were both huge. He had a huge sack. It was him and then Jannard Avery had back-to-back drives where we had a crucial third down and they got a sack to force a punt in the third quarter, I believe. So they really picked it up in the second half. Like against great teams, you're not gonna be able to do this, but
no, and
which is why I don't think anything's gonna happen. I expect a loss in the wild card in the first round, but I think the fact that they turned the season around from 2-5 to 9-7, 9-8, or 10-7, whatever it will be, to making the playoffs, hell of a success story. And I probably wouldn't give him the vote, but I think Sirianni deserves at least a discussion for coach of the year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you factor in how much of a train wreck this team was last year, you have to give them credit. They're in the playoffs. Give the guy credit. I don't believe there's any other rookie head coaches in the playoffs or, even really that close. Thinking off the top of my head. But the culture's good. Give him credit for who I'm going to vote for assistant coach of the year. I'm going to vote Philadelphia Eagles fans for assistant coach of the year because I think those run chants in the beginning of the season really changed everything. Once the Philadelphia fans peer pressured Nick Sirianni into running the ball, things changed immediately. So credit to Sirianni for realizing what was working. But listen, he made the adjustments. You kind of hit on this earlier, where I do have a little issue is I think Gannon did kind of go back to some of the old defensive play calling he was making earlier in the season.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
Non-aggressive, just play really far back. I know we lead the league in like not allowing any big plays, which is great, but you're playing so passive that you're letting guys like Taylor Heineke just drive up and down the field easily. Yeah. And especially in the first half, I felt like there was pressure there, but no one could actually get this guy down. And the second half, it turned around. We were getting him and actually bringing him down. But it's just, I did see a lot, especially in the first half, of that defense I hated in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, it was frustrating. And then the last drive Washington had, they for whatever reason, Barnett, Sweat, and Hargrave were all on the sideline for the majority of that last drive. I don't know if that's how their substitutions were working, that's just the drive they had to sit out, but they didn't put them back in until like they were near the goal line. I was very surprised because I could see them on the sideline. I'm just like, why are they sitting there? But great play by McLeod to make a really nice diving interception. And hey, like I told you, Anthony Harris has really settled in and had some nice coverage on that play to force Heineke to throw the ball a little too much. And they made a play.
Yeah. Hey, I'll have some to McLeod because this whole podcast, whole conversation, whole city is different if McLeod doesn't get that pick and they do score that touchdown.
I would have cried. That would have been terrible.
Now what? You're going into Dallas against a team that is going to play their starters, and you're out half your roster because of COVID.
Oh yeah, that would have been terrible.
Could you imagine the change if they lose that game? Just think of the video when the fans fall out of the stands. Eagles fans so furious that they lose to Washington, they come out of stance to attack Jalen Hurts.
That would be the headlines.
Like it's just the whole mentality change. But credit to McLeod, who's the leader on one of the leaders in the defense, to make the play you needed in that situation. And hey, man, they keep rolling. Like I said, the consistency they show in struggling in the first half is worrisome, and I think it is going to come back to bite them in the ass in the playoffs. Because I've said this since they started this poor streak of starting is when you play good teams, you will get punished for this. And it almost happened this week. I mean, I guess Washington's the best team you played in the last 3 weeks between the Jets, Giants, and a COVID-ridden Washington. So you almost saw it this week, but I mean, that's my concern. All in all, they still show positives enough to be excited, I think, and you clinch the playoffs. So listen, we have playoff football. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
If you can beat Dallas and get some momentum going in the playoffs, that would be incredible. But if you also just rest the guys and get them healthy, it's probably more than likely it's going to happen, especially with COVID hitting this team.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a wrap on the birds. Elsewhere around the league, we had the Bears beat the Giants 29-3. Mike Glennon really in the running for LVP of the year.
Man, the Giants are just embarrassing. I say this every week, I think, and they just continue to embarrass.
I'm hearing a lot of Russell Wilson trade rumors to the Giants.
Man, if I'm Russell, I don't know. I'm going there. That franchise is a train wreck. I know it's New York, big media. That team, I don't care what they do in the offseason. If they add Russell Wilson to that team, they aren't going to the playoffs. There's just no way. I know Russell Wilson's great, but there's just no way. This team sucks in every aspect.
Yeah.
Disaster franchise.
Speaking of train wrecks, Patriots train wrecked the Jaguars 50-10.
Hey, when you're a rookie quarterback, you don't have your welcome to the NFL moment until you play Bill Belichick. So Trevor Lawrence, you had your full welcome to the NFL moment with your 3 picks and Bill Belichick's defense that probably still has his mind puzzled.
Yeah. I hope Lawrence gets some good coaching around him because he'll be a good quarterback. I
think so too.
I'm not too worried about him, but we'll see.
How can you judge this guy after what Urban put him through?
Look
at the press conferences throughout the year. You would have been convinced Trevor Lawrence was the coach, not this bimbo that was ditching his team after losses to go to college bars or kicking his kicker just to keep him in check, I guess.
Yeah, he was a piece of work. The Rams beat the Ravens 20-19. Stafford is such a polarizing quarterback where he'll make he'll make some mistakes with interceptions and stuff, but then like game on the line, he'll just deliver dimes and get you the victory. So see how all that works for them in the playoffs. But
yeah, you know what? I forgot to mention this. I wanted to get into this on the Birds since we have pretty much, it looks like 2 different opponents. It's either going to be the Rams or the Cowboys pending something crazy. Yeah. Who would you rather see?
Cowboys.
Yeah. Oh man, give me the Rams.
I don't know.
Looks shaky.
Yeah, but Dak, he looked good in the first half of the season, and I don't know if he's just been hurt or whatever, but he's not looked great. They just lost Gallup, and Cooper's been pretty quiet the second half of the year. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, sure. Dak, everyone great, but Stafford has struggled mightily the last 2 weeks. So I like the quarterback that's struggling right now.
And granted, we're Eagles fans, so we're naturally going to hate on Dallas wherever we can. But I'll give Diggs credit that the amount of interceptions he has is incredible. But the dude's given up nearly 1,000 receiving yards this year. Like he can be beat.
He reminds me of Marcus Peters, honestly.
That's a very good comparison.
He's boom or bust. When they boom, but listen, you can't take away from the guy. You can hit on those jump routes, but you still got to catch the ball, make the play. And
they got one guy picking the ball off and getting burned, and then they got the other guy giving decent coverage, but then holds when he gets beat on the other side of the field. So they're
it's still.
I don't like our chances in either playoff matchup, but I would think.
I think the fear of losing to the Cowboys also kind of scares me. I do not want to lose the Cowboys in the playoffs. That would be a real.
I mean, we have. I believe the last time this happened, we were in high school, but there was a time when the Eagles made the playoffs. I believe Foles was the quarterback. We lost to Dallas the final week of the year, and then we played Dallas again the next week and lost. So we lost
Oh
back to
yeah, that
back
was
weeks to
terrible. That was
Dallas. Yeah, that
McNabb.
was
Remember with the guitar playing coming out of the locker room, and
no.
then
I
they
think
just
it
got
was
embarrassed.
Foles.
I'm telling you, man, that was a painful moment. I did not forget the air guitar Don McNabb was
Or
playing
maybe it
that coming
happened.
out of that
Maybe it
tunnel.
happened twice then, because I definitely remember it
I'm
being
telling you,
Foles, but maybe it was McNabb. Who knows? Whatever.
yeah, no, trust me, it's etched in my mind as a painful memory. I remember vividly him coming out playing the air guitar and then them getting smacked the second week in a row, playing the Cowboys in the playoffs. It wasn't pretty.
That's possible. You know what? You're probably right because
Right.
when did Reed get fired? That was 2013, 2012.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we would have graduated. So yeah, you're probably damn it, not played that long. Yeah. He was drafted what, 01? Anyways. Speaking of I'm not speaking of anything, but just how about Antonio Brown? What a character.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know. What's more surprising that, well, Brady being Brady still led an incredible drive to win a game that, even though it was the Jets, you still thought, how could the Jets blow it at this point? It's just amazing what Brady does. He drives the field in a game they look like shit, and he's got this lunatic jumping off the field, piecing, and he just ignores all of it. Just like, all right, I'm going to go beat the Jets, drive the field, and throw a touchdown. Who I don't know, Cyrus Wilson. I don't know who the hell this guy is. He's like, AB left in the halftime. Didn't even know. Who's the other guy? Oh, him. I'll throw you a touchdown to win the game. Let's go. It's just incredible.
I was looking at the scores at the end of the third quarter, and I saw it was like 10-24 Jets, and I was like, wait a minute, is this correct? Like, what the heck's happening? But yeah, so I mean, you have to be living under a rock to not know. But so the Bucs barely beat the Jets 28-24 on a late Tom Brady magic as usual. But Antonio Brown, he just I'm not sure what happened. If actually, from what I heard, Bruce Arians, something was wrong with Antonio Brown. He didn't want to go in, and Bruce Arians told him to go in, like, you go in on this play. And he said no. And he said, if you're not going to play, then get off the field or go in the locker room or something. And Antonio Brown took his pads, his shirt, his jersey off, threw his gloves in the stands, walked onto the field while a play was probably going on because Antonio Brown.
Never seen that before.
Cheered to the fans, and then walked out the tunnel, got dressed, stood outside, called an Uber. I think he's still in New York. Someone said he was at a Knicks game. So
that guy, I don't know what he does. I think, can we officially say that this is the end of his career? Once Tom Brady, once you piss off Tom Brady, I can't imagine you get another chance.
It blows my mind. It really, and you look at the coaches that dealt with him. Like, we're talking about, like, these are legit coaches that put up with his bull crap. In you had Mike Tomlin, phenomenal head coach. You had Bill Belichick, one of the greatest of all time. John Gruden, for what it's worth, was a pretty good coach in his earlier days.
Well, to be fair, Gruden just never got a chance. I don't even think they made it out of training camp.
Yeah, that was. I mean, he recorded their conversations and stuff. Like, Grant, I definitely. Someone made a point that, like, he really changed after that Vontaze Burfict hit he took a couple years ago when he was on Pittsburgh. But look, do I think it could be, some kind of, mental issue? Absolutely. But, like, doesn't excuse the behavior. You don't do that to your people. Work way too hard to get to that level of the NFL, and it's a very rare opportunity. So for him to just act like he acts, it's just, the NFL should not allow him to, suit up again. I mean, Josh Gordon's gotten plenty of retries. Antonio Brown's gotten his retries, but I don't know what team is going to want to put up with this now that if you have Tom Brady vouching for you and you can't even stick up with that, then
I have to think his career is. Not to just cut you off here, but since we were talking about it, 2010, the Eagles lost to the Cowboys 34-14. Donovan McNabb, a nice, beautiful 19 of 37, 1 TD, 1 pick for 230.
Jeremy
Maclin somehow managed 146 yards and a touchdown, but Tony Romo, the quarterback on the other side, cut us up in painful game. Trust me, I will never forget that air guitar. It's kind of burned into my mind.
That was the playoffs, or that was the final game of the season?
That was the playoffs.
What was the score of that?
34-14.
Yuck.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I'll never forget that air guitar when coming out and just getting absolutely destroyed.
Don't tell me. What the hell was the running back's name? Don't tell me though. It was number 21, I think.
No, you're thinking way too hard into this.
Was it not who wasn't it? Wait, was it Marion Barber?
Oh, for the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Felix Jones.
Felix Jones, that's what I was thinking of.
Marion Barber was on the team, but Felix Jones led the team in carries.
Yeah.
And then Shady, Leonard Weaver, both had 5 carries each. Odd game when Shady McCoy has the same amount of carries as Leonard Weaver. Just an odd game.
I liked Leonard Weaver. He was a really good fullback until he, destroyed his knee.
Yeah, I liked him when he was blocking, not getting, tied for the team high in carries.
He was a good playmaker too, though. Like he wasn't slow. But yeah,
if I have LaShawn McCoy and Leonard Weaver in the backfield, I'm not going to give him carries. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Anyway,
moving on to this week, we had to go back because I can't believe we forgot that glorious game. What else did we have this week that was exciting? There was actually quite a number of blowouts.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting through. You gotta let me touch on the games here. I'll just run through a couple boring ones. Well, I mean, good for our draft stock. Titans beat the Dolphins 34-3. Shout out to the Titans. I mean, everyone wrote them off once Derrick Henry got hurt. And all they've been doing is winning. And currently you have the number 1 seed in the AFC. Like, who the hell would have thought that?
I think that's where my coach of the year vote goes, is to keep this team on the straight and narrow when your best player goes down. And now look at them. They're got the number 1 seed right now, and their best players a week or 2 away from coming back. Yeah. Very impressive. Very impressive.
If not him, and I would say, if the Raiders make the playoffs, I would put Rich Bisecki, or Bisecki, however you say his name, in. I mean, to take over for Gruden, and then all the drama that the Raiders have dealt with Henry Ruggs, and then the passing of John Madden and all this other hoopla. Like,
well, remember the Damon Arnett that we forget about?
Yeah, they've been dealing with craziness.
I think their rookie cornerback just got arrested for a DUI. He's like one of the lone bright spots they've had in recent draft classes, and he just got arrested for a DUI a few hours after the game. I saw it just never ends with that franchise, to be honest with you. But hey, you know what? You are right. I think I've picked them against them quite a bit, and they just continue to go out there and win. I'll give them credit. It's impressive.
Yeah, they beat the Colts 23-20 this week. I thought Carson was gonna be out with COVID, but apparently he played. So who knows? But they're still in the wild card, but they got to beat the Jaguars, which I actually saw. If the Jaguars beat the Colts, the Raiders play the Chargers, I believe. And if both teams, if they tied, would make the playoffs over the Colts. So they could literally just be like, let's decide on a draw. Just don't play the game. They both walk into the playoffs.
Crazier things happen.
This is true. I was trying to remember a couple of years ago, and I actually saw it come up on, someone shared it. It was the Bills needed like a miracle of things to happen to make the playoffs. It might have been 2017 or 2016, and everything was happening, and the last thing they needed was the Bengals, who were really bad that year, to beat the Ravens, I think it was. And they literally, on a 4th and 19 or something, Andy Dalton threw a touchdown to Tyler Boyd for a walk-off win, and the Bills ended up going to the playoffs.
You gotta love the wacky playoff scenarios.
Oh yeah, they had a 3% chance or something like that, and then ended up making it. So fun stuff. But speaking of the Bills, they took care of business 29-15 over the Falcons. I do think the Falcons were actually winning at one point, but
not the prettiest game. Josh Allen, I think, had 3 picks. He did run 2 touchdowns in. I mean, it was a snowy game, so you can't kill him, but 11 of 26 for 120 yards and 3 interceptions. that's pretty ugly. But then when you factor in like your franchise quarterback made up for it by running for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns, that's a playmaker right there. I might struggle in one aspect, but I'm gonna make up for it in the other aspect. And when you're in a blizzard, I mean, that's durability and two-way talent that you got to appreciate.
Yeah. Some of the uh, blowouts or not so close games, we had 49ers 23-7 over the Texans. Chargers beat the Broncos 34-13. Seattle put 51 on the Lions. Packers beat the Vikings 37-10. I saw a joke. Was the Vikings haven't made the playoffs in like 2 years, and the last 2 years, and they hate the Packers so much that they don't want to win a Lombardi trophy. But yeah. Steelers beat the Browns 14-20 or 26-14. Browns are eliminated for the playoffs. They were actually eliminated before that game even started, which they were my AFC Championship game team. But
yeah, I don't know what you think about there. You are someone that has been a big Baker hater. Like, you never got caught up in the Baker Kool-Aid, but yet you got caught up in the Browns Kool-Aid. I don't really understand how that one works.
Well, I thought the talent around them would be enough. I thought their defense was really up and coming. I love the backfield. I thought they had good weapons. They have 2 good tight ends. They had OBJ.
I'd say 2 good tight ends. Austin Hooper looked terrible. He had 2 easy drops and then a false start.
Yeah, well,
really ugly game for him.
And the line's really good. So yeah, I mean the paper on paper they look good. They just couldn't put together. I don't know about Baker. He definitely was injured all year, so it's hard to really evaluate. But yeah, I've never been too high on him.
Yeah, that one I never got. Never was a fan of the quarterback, but always a fan of the team.
Probably the ugliest game of the week. The Saints beat the Panthers 18-10. Somehow the Saints are still in playoff contention, even though they've had COVID every week. They have had like 5 different starting quarterbacks. But hey, give them credit.
The Saints are like, I equate them to a cockroach. You're like almost definitely sure that they're dead, and then you look and somehow it's still going. Like, they just, credit to them. I mean, Sean Payton is coaching his ass off with the quarterbacks that he has gone out there and continues to win games. Dennis Allen actually should get some calls about I think head coaching position. What he's done with that Saints defense is extremely impressive.
Oh yeah, they've been good for a while. And then the last 2 games, which were pretty entertaining. Cardinals beat the Cowboys 25-22. Again, the Cowboys just have not looked great lately. I mean, they made a nice little comeback at the end there, but it wasn't enough.
I'll come out and say this: credit to the Cardinals. I've given the Cardinals a lot of crap the last 2 weeks because it looked like the train was just going off the tracks. They went out there and got a big win against a playoff team. So credit to them. They showed up when they needed to. I mean, these are 2 teams that I have question marks about, even though they have great records. Cardinals, obviously, I've been hard on them the last 2 weeks, and just look like they're not there. They make so many mistakes, so many false start penalties on 3rd down. It's just mind-numbing. And the Cowboys just look like they're the best team in the football some weeks, and then just a team that can't get out of their own ways in other weeks.
Yeah, they're we'll see what they do in the playoffs, but yeah. And then the probably game of the week, Bengals beat the Chiefs 34-31. Joe Burrow set the passing yards and passing touchdown record of the Bengals. So I'm gonna guess Carson Palmer held that record. So yeah, year 3, right, for Joe Burrow, or is this year 2?
Year 3. Yeah, it sounds about. No, year 2.
Year 2. Yeah.
He's really. I mean, yeah.
He's been phenomenal lately. Jamar Chase beat or broke Justin Jefferson's rookie record from last year. He's been a monster. He had what? I mean, he's probably on your list, so I won't spoil that too much. But
we'll get to him in a little bit.
Yeah, so that was a very impressive win by them. Zach Taylor too should be in Coach of the Year nominations. He's done that's how you build a team. They had what? I think this is his 3rd or 4th season, but they were bad the first 2 years, and then but they used their draft stock, took the right players, started building that team up. And they won the AFC North, so congrats to them.
And
But
I mean, since Philly's ravenous, and Sirianni's kind of taken a Zach Taylor, um, start to his coaching career, but Zach Taylor's done it over 3 years, where Sirianni went through it in one season where everyone hated the guy. He was the dumbest coach ever. Let's fire him now. And now he's leading a team to the playoffs, and everyone's commends him for being an offensive genius. Where Taylor, I think, might as well have been just fired on the spot as it was in the beginning of his career. He looked like a complete dud, but it's really coming around. I think getting Joe Burrow definitely helps, but yeah, well, it said it was a wild week, definitely for sure. And since 17 weeks, we get one more. So it's weird looking at these teams as you're saying it and seeing the records. I'm like 11-5, 10-6, 5-11. We're like done, but one more week to go. But with that said, obviously we're in a good mood, right? We're in the playoffs.
Sure.
There's only one mood to be in right now. So obviously we're going to start with the studs. So this one, I'll give credit. This was a team that I was even flip-flopping between. Wasn't even sure if they were going to win. And credit to this guy, because he single-handedly, I think, earned himself a contract extension after having his fifth-year option declined at the beginning of the season. So he was another guy that was pretty much written off for dead, but came back to life. And this game was a huge one for him. So going for 25 carries, $170 on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. We got and playing his best football of his career is Rashawn Penny. Big game for Seattle, putting up 51 points. I know Russell put up 4 touchdowns, and that's all nice and well, but Penny was just dominant. He ran all over that team.
Yeah.
Moving on, this one, I got to say, I think we all expected like some records to be broken. Obviously, there's definitely records in danger. But then after this just dominant performance this guy put up in a defensive effort, you look at him and then you realize like he's probably going to break a record and do it with 15 games played. I think I saw something tweeted where he's only played 12 full games, where he's had to leave a couple games out early, and he's missed 2 full games completely. But after he went for 4 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, I think he had 5 quarterback hits. My God, he is just. I saw Baker Mayfield got surgery this week. I think TJ Watt can pretty much be credited for it. So second stud on the list, we're going TJ Watt, and he's coming in close to that Strahan record, which is impressive because he's going to do it in 15 games.
Well, what is he? How many did he get? He got 4 last night?
Got 4 last night, so he's got 21 and a half.
I thought the record was 21, or is it 24?
22 and a half, I believe. I think
he's
one sack behind. Yeah. The amazing thing is he's going to do it with, if he does do it, he's going to do it with 15 games played. He's missed 2 full games, and he left, I think, 2 games early. It's just incredible what he's doing right now.
1.5 sacks away from Michael Strahan's record. That's wild.
After you just had 4 this past game, I think that's one he's going to get. I expected records to fall, but in 17 game schedule, not a guy playing less games than what Strahan did, and he's going to do it. So it's really just impressive. I don't think there's a coincidence that Baker got surgery after playing him. I mean, the poor guy was just getting assaulted by him.
Yeah, he had a rough season.
Yeah, so definitely second stud deservingly. Honestly, 4 sacks and nearing in on a record you think would be number 1 stud, but I had his quarterback on the list last week, and I couldn't put on one of his teammates at receiver, T. Higgins. This week, there's just no other way to look at it. 11 receptions, 266 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And those stats are incredible, but I promise you, if you watch the plays he was making, they are even more impressive. Seeing what that guy was doing, oh my God, he juked one guy and just outran the one team. I don't even know how he scored that touchdown. He was just a menace. You said he broke Justin Jefferson's rookie record one season after he said it. So really just incredible performance. I think everyone has forgotten that the Bengals were in consideration for drafting Penei Sewell.
Yeah.
Considering what Jamar Chase has done. So number 1 stud this week in an absolute shootout is Jamar Chase, who just was unguardable.
Yeah, his run after he's phenomenal catching the ball, phenomenal getting open, phenomenal after the catch. And it's funny that he had a really bad preseason of dropping balls and stuff, and then all of a sudden lit it up. So
yeah, that felt like a decade ago that he had the drops.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all forgot about that. But just honestly, his playmaking ability this week was just something else.
Yeah. But
well, moving on to the dud list, the sad stuff.
Oh boy.
Get a little wah, wah, wah.
Wah.
It's all right. It's all right. Don't be too sad, Dakota, because you're gonna like this first dud that makes the list. We rarely get to see, especially this season, but when a Cowboy makes it, we got to be happy. So, in what was one of the games of the week, Cowboys again. They have so much talent, but I feel like at certain points their talent just doesn't show up. And this guy has not shown up a lot this season. Went for nine carries, 16 yards, a 1.8 pathetic yards per carry. He got outrun by his quarterback. His quarterback was the leading rush this week with not an impressive 20 yards. So in a big game, your superstar, highly paid running back did not show up. So Ezekiel Elliott, our first dud for this week. And you got to love it when a Cowboy makes that list.
Love that.
Moving on, second dud this week was one of the young quarterbacks, which is kind of the theme of the duds list this year. But in a game that he just got absolutely shellacked. Only managed to put up 3 points, fumbled the ball 3 times, only lost it once. But my God, the way he lost it, he just literally just dropped the ball. It looked like he was trying to throw it and just popped out of his hand. Really pathetic. You throw in an interception and a embarrassing 18 for 38. Got 205 passing yards, but again, his team only managed a disgusting 3 points and just got completely obliterated. So second dud this week is Tua Tagovailoa.
They got obliterated or obliviated?
It's a mixture of both. That's how bad it was. I was thinking, I was, before we got on, I was debating on which word to use, but I was like, you know what? It was so pathetic. I'm thinking I'm going to put them both together and see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you were paying attention. Yeah. Sometimes I like to see if you pay attention too.
I do, even when I'm not, looking at the screen, I'm listening. So
good to hear. Well,
I can only look at your mug for so long. So
yeah, fair enough. Moving on, our number one dud. You kind of went on your tirade already there. I didn't want to get too much into it because I knew I was going to have you. And honestly, I'm just going to get right to it. One of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. And just taken out of context, because I think it was put on everyone's screen. It blew up Twitter. It was on everyone's replay. Like, I know in the Eagles game, they cut to it, and Mark Schleif was like, I have no idea what just happened there. No one did. No one's seen that before. I've never seen a guy in the middle of a game just rip off his clothes, throw him in the stands, and piece him out. It's just really, really, really bizarre situation. You're hearing that he said he was hurt, couldn't go back in the game, and Arians was like, you need to go back in the game, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. I mean, there's ways of handling yourself. What you did, Antonio Brown, is not how you handle yourself. We all talk, I mean, he missed $1 million incentive by just, had he gone out there and caught the ball, I think 3 more times, he would have hit it. Really bizarre. I think this is the end of his career because it's not just this. Remember, he just got back from a 3-game suspension. And what I find the most bizarre thing is when he came back from that suspension and the reporters were grilling Arians about, hey, you said Antonio Brown was a 1 strike and done. Is he out? Is he coming back at the suspension? It seemed like AB was a little annoyed in some of the press conferences since then. So it kind of seemed like something wasn't said by Arians that he liked or the situation was good. So it felt like something was brewing. I didn't see this coming, but I don't know. Stormed out the field. I think he ended his career. I don't know how else to put it. So Antonio Brown, you're the number one dud because, like I said, you lose your job. Like I put on kickers. I've had a kick returner who fumbled a couple times, got traded. If you lose your job, you're going to be number one of the dud list. It's one of the basic requirements. So definitely one of the odder things.
Yeah, that whole situation is strange.
You got a guy quit on his team mid-game and was suspended 3 games. There's no way he gets another job. But what are you going to do? To each your own.
Yeah. Was that number one? Maybe I wasn't listening.
Oh, look at you. You're still trying to Google obliviated to see if it's actually a real word.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Antonio Brown, let's get right into the Too Much Whiz segment. So, starting off with you, Tim. Too Much Whiz. Antonio Brown will play football again, but it will be in the XFL or a different football league.
Too much whiz, to be honest. You know what? I'll give him this.
Not even the
XFL? We're all talking about Antonio Brown. I mean, how many times have we mentioned him? I think this is the 3rd time we've mentioned him alone. I haven't even looked at ESPN tonight, but I guarantee it was all Antonio Brown. But he's also, I think I saw something. He has a Netflix deal. He released a rap song. I haven't listened to it. I had no time for it. I was, no. I honestly think that Antonio Brown has decided football is no more for him. I'm just
Mm.
gonna, I'm gonna go out in the most ridiculous way possible. Everyone's gonna talk about me, and I'm gonna drop my rap song and do my Netflix deal and move on from football. I don't know what else to say. Maybe he goes to XFL after his rap career is over. Who knows? But his NFL career is definitely over.
Yeah, I agree with that. Second, too much of the whiz.
Okay.
Something, trying to fool you up a little bit there.
I like you. You're getting a little, crafty with your words
Yeah,
after
yeah. I
whop that
mean,
obliviated on you.
you out here making new vocabulary terms, so I gotta keep up with you there.
That's what I do.
So too much whiz. If the King, Derrick Henry, returns in time for the playoffs, the Titans become the team to beat in the AFC.
I'm gonna say too much whiz. I like what the Titans are doing now, but listen, we were all enamored by the Chiefs up until this week, and it was a close game. They lost to the Bengals. I was surprised how poorly their defense played, but again, the Chiefs said Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase was just making plays. I still think the Chiefs are the team to beat. They've shown to do it. They beat the Titans before. I know this team looks a little bit different, but I think the Chiefs get in the playoffs. We're going to see more of what we were seeing the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're a hard team to understand because their defense is definitely better than they've been in the past. My boy Kevin Byard having a really nice year. But yeah, we'll see what happens with them because Tannehill is still not phenomenal. So, and my last point, last little razzle dazzle got going on here. Too much whiz. In an off season that could see quite a few QB changes.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins will be traded away from the Minnesota Vikings.
First, before I answer this, I saw an ESPN article that had the quarterback carousel kind of moving.
Yeah.
I saw the Eagles trading for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
If you want to find a way to get Philly fans to fully buy into Jalen Hurts, go trade for Kirk Cousins and see how badly this team goes nuts.
Yeah.
I hate everything about that, but I'm gonna say it's too much whiz. I think that Vikings bring back Zimmer and they bring back Kirk Cousins. There's, they're a borderline playoff team. I think they can still get into the playoffs if I'm correct. If they get in the playoffs, I think they run it back one more time with Zimmer and Cousins. I know his contract's coming up. Maybe they franchise tag him and give him one more shot, but I don't know. And in an offseason where Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and Russell Wilson's going to be available, I don't think the market is going to be just, salivating for Kirk Cousins. Put it that way.
They actually were they were eliminated from the playoffs on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
He's such a polarizing name that I think people equate him to being not a good quarterback, but he's statistically had a very good year. He's not. I wouldn't say top 10, but I would say he's a starting caliber top 14, top 13 quarterback.
See, my problem with trading Kirk Cousins is if you trade Kirk Cousins away, you're pretty much rebuilding. And you look at these guys on the team. So what do they do about you? Well, I mean, what do you do about Dalvin Cook? What do you do about Eric Kendricks? What do you do about Daniel Hunter? What do you do about Adam Thielen? What do you do about Harrison Smith? There's a lot of talent on that team. I don't necessarily think that Kirk Cousins is the reason they can't win. I think the defense is the main problem. Like, let's be honest. Kirk Cousins kept them in a lot of games. I think if you move on from Kirk Cousins, you're pretty much signaling a rebuild. You're not a better team without Kirk Cousins. You don't have the answer in your locker. We just saw Sean Mannion do nothing. Unless you find a way to bring in someone like a Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo does a little bit better, but I don't see the move that makes sense for them. They're a team that's ready to win. I think they have too much talent to really trade away their quarterback,
especially on offense. Probably one of the best wide receiver duos and a top 5 running back.
Yeah, look at the Seahawks. Look at the Seahawks situation. Russell Wilson's still a very good quarterback and winning games, but that team isn't good. Their defense stinks. There's not much on the offensive line's not good. I've had Rashawn Penny on the stud list, but he's come back. He's come alive the last couple of games, but there's been not much of a run game with Chris Carson now. There's just not much to that team. They're not going to win regardless who's the quarterback. I don't think the Vikings are, at fault because of Kirk Cousins. I think there's talent there. They can win. They just need to find a couple more pieces and they can win with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to stir the pot, see what your thoughts were.
Listen, you didn't have to stir the pot. When I saw fucking Kirk Cousins' name getting traded to the Eagles for a first-round pick, nonetheless,
yeah,
this city would go nuts.
Yeah, that's different. So, but that is our. Wow, I'm really. It was a long day. I'm really blacking out on adjectives here.
You're still hungover from the Eagles game. It looks like
I might be hungover from New Year's still. Who knows? But yeah, that was our Too Much Whiz and Studs and Duds segments. Moving on, we have our power rankings. So all of our teams remain, just shift the order a little bit. Still number one, we got the Packers heading into week 17 or week 18 actually. Chiefs still at number 2, even though they lost. Still think they're a very good team. Rams at 3. Bills moving up to 4. The young superstars on the Bengals helping them out at number 5. Titans at 6, even though probably a little disrespectful to them, but they're the Titans. Cowboys at 7, Buccaneers at 8, Colts at 9, and the Pats at 10. So once again, the Cardinals just miss out. They probably would have been 11. But
the Eagles, I think, will probably be 12. That was the one we were trying to finagle in there.
I mean, they almost beat the Chargers. Was the Raiders getting close? I don't remember.
No, those were the days when Rich Gannon or John Gannon didn't know how to call defense.
You're right, because it was probably Rich Gannon calling the defensive plays because he was a quarterback. So
it seemed like I remember Derek Carr had like the greatest game ever known,
completion percentage history. Ever. Yeah,
it was outrageous.
Yeah, but no, they're top 15, I'd say. But yeah,
I'd have in that 12 spot. So curious because now we get into the picks. Where's our overall record at? Because let me see. I don't think you're gonna be able to touch it now.
I'm not sure what happened. I don't know where it fell apart.
Oh, easy. Me. I picked the teams that won, and you didn't.
Well, thank you, Tim. You're very smart. No, I think I got a little too aggressive in the middle of the year with some of my picks, and even when you were picking the Eagles when they were supposed to win, purposely to lose, you still kept your pace. So,
because I'm a true fan, I hurt my overall record for the sake of the Eagles. Although I did get that Giants win correct, as disgusting as that was.
Yeah, way to go. So currently, once again, you beat me this week.
It's like a weekly thing. What was my record this week? How awesome.
13-3.
I'm on that. You want to come back? I'm on my hottest I've ever been. I got one wrong last week. I got 13-3.
I went 12-4. I was right behind you.
What a shame.
And we had Josh do guest picks, and he literally picked the same games that you did. So
it's the best strategy you can have.
He also
you
went
see
13-3.
Me. He said he saw me the week before get only one wrong. He's like, I'm following this guy. Look, he beat you.
He did. So as much as it hurts me to say, you have a 10-game lead on me right now.
Oh, baby. That's what we like to hear. So you need a miracle here, buddy.
170 wins, 85 losses. I'm at 160 and 95. So as long as I stay
170, 85, right?
As long as I keep the losses under 100, I'll mark that as a successful year of picking games. So
let's get right into it then.
All right.
What's our first game of the week?
Starting off, we have 2 Saturday games. The first one is the Chiefs and the Broncos. Now, again, a lot of these games, we don't know if players are going to be rested or not. So these are all kind of toss-ups, honestly. So maybe
the Chiefs, the Chiefs are, could still win first place. I believe they're tied, if I'm correct, but the Titans have the tiebreaker.
They do.
Yeah, they're both 11-5. So the Chiefs are going to play on Saturday. They didn't play the day before, so they will have the starters up. And you know what? The Broncos are eliminated, and the Chiefs need that one of my trademark games, the get right games. I think the Chiefs win by a lot, so I'm going Chiefs.
All right. Broncos have kind of fallen apart the last few games. I think Chiefs have something to play for, so I will go KC. Next game we have is the Cowboys and the Eagles. This is the 8:00 Saturday game. I really don't know. I think since this game's on Saturday, Cowboys have more to play for because they can still get the 2 seed, I believe. Um, but hey, if they end up resting players and Minshew plays, maybe he gives them a little surprise and they practice to go against him. So I'm not going to catch up to you anyway, so I might as well pick the home team and I'll go Eagles.
Fair enough. Yeah, obviously we went through the COVID list. We're missing pretty much our whole secondary. We're
Yeah.
half our offensive line. I doubt they'll put Hurts in a game where half the offensive line is missing. And I don't know who's going to play running back. So if you're free on Saturday, you should, see if you can head down to the link.
Hmm.
With that said, I have a 10-game lead on you. So while I think the Cowboys are probably going to win, fuck that. I'm going Eagles.
Well, that
I
doesn't
can
help
afford a
me.
loss.
Now we got back-to-back same picks, so I'm definitely not catching up.
That's all right. I could afford a loss even if the Eagles drop one.
Next game we have the game of misery, Washington versus the New York Giants.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think Washington finds a way to win this one because the Giants might be the worst team in the league, honestly.
Yeah, the Giants are a train wreck. There's literally nothing to say positive about that team. No, I'm going Washington.
Next game we have is the Bengals and the Browns. Another team that's just in disarray with the Cleveland Browns, so I will go Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals are very hot. I think they get another one. I mean, Baker had surgery, so you pretty much have to pencil him out. Not saying that that's much, but I'm going Bengals.
Next game is Steelers and Ravens. I believe both these teams can still possibly make the wild card in the AFC. So fairly important game. Who you got?
I mean, Lamar was limping last week. He hasn't practiced yet. I don't see him playing in this game. The Ravens are falling apart, but you know what? The Steelers, it's Big Ben's last game, most likely, and TJ Watt's going for the record. I think the Steelers have enough going their way that they pull out a win here.
I'm just gonna pick against you. I'll take the Ravens.
Fair enough. That's a strategy that hasn't worked for you so far in the season, but stick with it.
Yeah, who knows? Next game we have the Packers and the Lions. I think Rodgers will force himself into a starting role for at least half the game. But regardless, even if Jordan Love plays, I think they could beat the Lions. So I'll go Packers.
Yeah, we're not going to put too much thought on this. It's literally the best team in the NFL versus the worst record-wise, or second worst. So we're going to go
Packers. Colts and the Jaguars. Again, if the Jaguars somehow beat the Colts, opens the door for Jags or the Chargers or the Raiders to get in. So pretty important game for the Colts. I think Carson finds a way to get it done, though.
Yeah, like I said, when they fired Urban, I said the Jaguars pretty much, punted on the season and called it quits. So we're going to continue with that trend and go Colts.
Next game is the Bears at the Vikings. Probably Kirk Cousins would return for this one. Who you liking in that?
Yeah, I think the Vikings win this. It's at home. There's nothing to play for, but they're division rivals. I think the Vikings are the better team. Plus, Andy Dalton played this week. What's going on, Matt Nagy? Do you want your job? Put Nick Foles out there. This is what the people want. What is this Andy Dalton shit? We're going Vikings. Fucking, just out of spite. I don't care if they won. Dude, get fucking Andy Dalton out of the game. God damn it. We want Nick Foles.
Just out of spite to spite you, I'll take the Bears.
You go ahead. You would take a team that benches Nick Foles.
Yeah. Next game is the Titans at the Texans. Texans have Texans have been a very weird team. Some weeks they'll play really well and surprise, and then other weeks they just lay down and take the ass beating. I think this is an ass beating week, so I'll take the Titans.
Yeah, they're not getting up for this one. This is going to be a Titans win.
Next game is the Saints and the Falcons. Saints have a lot to play for. Falcons are very meh. So who you liking?
I got to say, you are right. The Falcons are meh, but somehow 7-9. They feel like they're a 4-win team, but somehow have 7 wins.
Huh.
But let's give this. I said the Saints are cockroaches that never die. I think they find a way to keep on living, and I'm going to go pick the Saints.
Well, I don't like bugs, so I'll take the Falcons.
Well, the Falcons a bird, but sure.
Well, I said I don't like. You said the Saints are cockroaches, so
No, touche.
birds eat bugs. So, um, next game is the Seahawks at the Cardinals. I don't think the Seahawks pounding the Lions is like a turn of events. So I think Arizona takes care of business. I mean, they could still win the NFC West if they win and the Rams lose. So I'll take the Cardinals.
Yeah, no, I pretty much what you said. I mean, I was debating whether the Seahawks would lose to the Lions last week, so obviously that didn't happen. But
Yeah.
I don't see them going in Arizona winning that game, so I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Yeah. I will say while we're on the topic, I did pick the Cardinals to beat the Cowboys, which you did not, and then I did pick the Bengals to beat the Chiefs. So just want to. I took some bolder choices.
Bolder choices. You took the other side in the two like closest contested games. How's that bolder?
They were the underdogs. Anyways, Jets and the Bills. I don't think the Bills have the AFC East wrapped up yet. So they got something to play for. I mean, a lot of these teams still have like the AFC is not set at all. So
the Patriots and the Bills are the same exact record. So yeah, I think the Bills are going to win this. I'm not taking the Jets. I find it I think this is going to be very hard for them to get up for a game after that crushing loss last week.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Bills here. Next game is the Panthers at the Buccaneers. I mean, I don't even know anymore. I feel like in the past, Tom Brady sits these last games. The Panthers have been just brutal though. It's I don't even. The Buccaneers backups might even be able to beat them. But I'll take the Bucs.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to sit. I mean, they are tied with the Rams for seeding right now. I think the Rams probably have the tiebreaker. I believe when they played, the Rams won.
Yes,
sounds about right. But I'm also not going to pick the Panthers, so we're going to go Bucs. There really is not much exciting games this week. This is going to be a dry one for football.
They're all division battles, so
nothing exciting there.
Yeah. Speaking of division battles, Patriots at the Dolphins. Dolphins have nothing to play for, so Patriots do. Patriots are also playing for the Eagles draft pick positioning, so I guess go Pats. Take the Patriots.
You know what? I'm feeling the upset. Although it's a tough one. I mean, like I said, the Dolphins keep winning games, and I don't know how. I watched a little bit of the Dolphins game, and they look terrible. But I've lived with two Dolphins fans, my roommates, so they've always told me that every year somehow Miami manages to pull off some bullshit win against the Patriots, and it's usually in Miami. So this kind of sounds like bullshit Miami versus New England win. So I'll take the Dolphins. I think they get one of those bullshit Miami wins.
I mean, I definitely feel that vibe, but I need to start doing some opposites here. So yeah, I'm sticking with the Pats.
Hey, I'm also 10 games up on you, so I don't care. I'm going a little bold, baby. We're going with the Dolphins. Yeah. Why
not? This one might be the game of the week or game of the weekend, since all the other games look pretty bad. 49ers at the Rams. Jimmy G's probably going to be back. I mean, he's not an exciting quarterback. He's very much a game manager, but Rams have been up and down. I mean, OBJ's come alive pretty nicely for them. He's got like 5 or 6 touchdowns, I think, for them since he got there. So
yeah.
I think the Rams want to win this, though. They want to lock up that division, so I'll take the Rams.
Yeah, this is probably the most exciting game. I'm tempted to pick the Niners. Going in LA though. Stafford looks really rough.
Don't act like LA is a home field advantage. They're just regular people watching a football game. They're not really fans.
Yeah. They at least wear Rams gear. Where the Chargers, you just can't even find anyone wearing a Chargers jersey.
That's true.
You know what? The Rams have looked rough. Stafford's looked rough. I think the Niners go in and get a big win here.
Okay.
I actually think. Okay. I think you convinced me. Where would the Niners lie? Well, I mean, if the Niners lose, theoretically, they could fall down, and switch spots with us.
Yeah, that's true. So,
but what? Fuck it. I have 10 games on you, so I can gamble.
All right. And the last game we have Sunday night. There's no more Monday night games. Chargers and the Raiders. I mean, this one could also be a good game. Who knows? The Raiders are very up and down, but um, I really don't know. You know what? I think the Chargers are very hot and cold as well.
Yeah.
And the way this Raiders season has gone, I would not be surprised if they just got blown out. But I'm gonna say that they're riding a bit of a wave here. They want to finish the season strong for all the bullshit they've had to deal with. So I'll take the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. At the same time, like they've had so much bullshit to deal with, and then their like starting corner goes out and gets a DUI 2 hours after the game or whatever.
Yeah.
I would imagine he's probably not going to play this week. I don't know how that goes. I see on the injury report, arrested.
It's different injury report.
Yeah, the Raiders in the playoffs seems like a total long shot at the whole season. I think the Chargers rally up and win this game. I'm going to go LA.
Yeah. Not like we were saying earlier, crazier things have happened in the final week of the NFL. So
very true.
But yeah, this wraps up our week 8. I keep saying week 17 because I'm so used to that. My whole life, week 17 has been the last week of the season. Week 18 of the NFL season, the finale. And then right after that, we'll be going straight into playoffs. I actually have a lot of playoff games because there's only one team with a bye. So we'll have 6 games wild card weekend. So that'll be exciting.
You got one on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then one on Monday. It's exciting time.
Oh, is that what they said?
Yeah.
Wow, a Monday night game, that'll be interesting.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I think I'm looking at the I think I got it wrong. I think it's 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday. I apologize. I think my time difference threw me off. Yeah, the night games always pop up for the next day.
Yeah, it'll be Saturday 4:35, then 8:15, and then Sunday it's 1 o'clock, 4:40, 8:15, and then Monday the 8:15. So yeah, they spaced it out so that no games overlap. So plenty of people can watch. So that'll be fun.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Can you imagine, like, what if in 2 weeks we're talking about Eagles in the divisional round? How crazy would that be?
Hey, listen, I'm just glad that next week isn't going to be the Eagles' last game of the season. That's got me happy.
Yeah. No matter what happens,
from there.
It'll be no matter what happens, it'll be great experience for Jalen, great experience for the team. Who knows? Maybe Devontae Smith will pop off, have a Jamar Chase-esque game, and he's making plays every game. It's just stats just aren't there. So we'll see. But
hey, lock in. We got one more week. So until again.
Yeah, one more week. And once again, everyone, Happy New Year, and stay safe out there with COVID. But
well, I'll see you later. Peace.
Alrighty. Peace out.